Hello, everybody. Anyways, I decided I'll do a video on drawing, so I will do that. Let's begin. Anyways, you'll need to have a base starter with about anything in creating a new file, whatever. As long as you have like your base color down, don't add everything into one file, because usually there's gonna be like tiny things. Anyways, don't mind all that. You'll soon learn that. But drawing fingers, hands, anything else, drawing it in some ways, different perspectives, that will actually help with drawing. See how mine is somewhat facing an area. So there's that. Anyways, there is I say other ways to draw, but usually the way I draw is by copying some of the other drawings I did and using those ways of drawing different ones. For example, Gray Hassan went through again and again. I changed his art style, everything else. So there's all that little tiny shit that isn't really necessary, but it is a good way to use those things to help you with drawing or any small thing you need to do, like hands, hoodie, stuff like that, body sizing stuff, like using the scale. I don't do that. I'd say I might sometimes do it, but it's just like for small things. I guess for like a gun, I have to like size it up with the back proportions of a certain model. Like for Rookie, I was doing, there was a gun at the side, and a Rookie model you just saw someone at the beginning of the video. So that's the tiny thing that matter. Anyways, for this person right here, he drew his hand in a certain way. I'll show you how it's about drawn. I can't get it like exactly 100% the same, but it's whatever. Anyways, for drawing hands, specifically closed, almost closed, or just having like a, like whatever, like holding, for the thumb, usually would be like some trouble because it's perspective. It would be either unbalanced or a little bit weird. So just keep it like normally, just like one big side and one small side, and usually it's touching somewhere on the middle or last finger, depending on the digits of fingers you're using or how many you're drawing. Like for example, I'm drawing 3. That's, I'm pretty sure you drew 3. Yeah, I could be wrong because since usually it's whatever. But tiny things like this is good to express your creative ideas in like art you want to draw. Usually I would draw in gloves. So drawing in fingerless gloves. Sorry, I did not pronounce it. But fingerless gloves, it would be about like a crescent type line, but it wouldn't completely like cover the whole thing. But you have to, don't put it all in one area. Again, it depends on your brushes too. If you want to have like little taper lines, that's good. If you want to have like blocky lines at the end, that's great too. With a sharp point, that was great too. For the eyes, it is whatever you can think of doing. It is really dependent. But drawing a gun is multiple shapes. For example, this. It is a rectangle and a ramp shaped. So, I don't know what it's called, but it's whatever. So it's like tiny things. It's fine with it. Anyways, for any continuous stuff, you can add like little tiny metal parts like screwed in or welded in. That is great too. It expresses more of how it is made and stuff like that. So it's whatever. The rest of the stuff, right? It's extra stuff. It depends on how you want to draw it. But color palettes help you a lot with drawing. Usually I would use the one at the bottom. What the fuck? Anyways. For example, this gun. I used the color palette. And it came out about decent, but it's whatever. So, here's Olgrim using the same color palette. But, you know. And here's Rookie. Again, with the color palette. It's like tiny things. So, there's that. Anyways, this one right here, the gun, it is, again, about cubed color, something like that. For better showing a standing. For this, usually you'll see like that point. That's where you put the is it called nozzles or not? I don't think it's called nozzles. But usually I stick with the red or the blue color because those are deeper colors and I don't have to look much into it because it sticks out a lot. With a white or transparent background, or if you're trying to do transparent art, you can do that. Anyways, for me drawing hands, it's really easy. It's usually a dip, depending on the perspective. You see that I drew that little tiny part to it, but usually you have to pull it out and add little tiny things to it. So there's that, and you have to like make little tiny corrections, and so there's that. Usually for this stuff you'll have to add like little tiny lines. If it's not connected directly to the end tip, well, the tipper part, then you're gonna have to add like little tiny curved, like really curved line. So that's great. Anyways, for you see that I messed that one up. I don't know what I was thinking during this time. It was something stupid, something tiny, something a little bit dumb. I guess you could say it looks good right there, but it doesn't because of the tiny this difference. But you can just flip it and just drag it and stretch it a little bit. It's connecting to that a little bit too much, so you erase a little bit more, and it looks decently separated. So that's good. But you can also add like little details like the folding of your fingers. That is great too. So there's that little tiny thing you can use too, or just like even shape it a little bit, because since it might be sticking out, just like the tiny things that you can watch out for. Yeah. For me, usually it would be adding little tiny curves and folded finger things, usually to be like near each other at the tips of a glove. Which, if it's fingerless, yes, I will add that. But usually, if it's behind a finger or thumb, then you're gonna have to like figure out where the fold is. You can go look around for it, stuff like that. Usually, people will move it around like I just did because it did not look good enough to stay right there. Usually, you won't get it in first try. It's fine. For a thumb, once again, same thing. But if it's like getting covered up by most of it and it looks like there's a line right there already, you don't have to add anything to it. If it's in the lines that is covering it, then you have to erase that, unless you're gonna add like something to it. But there's not much to add to it. For a microphone, usually it is coned shape. You can add like a round top and then a cone bottom, or you can just draw a cone top and then just like flip it around. It's basically that. Usually if you erase on certain parts or you don't try to move it, it might look bad, depending if you did move it at all. So there's that. And plus the folding fingers is going to be a major play into that. If you're holding in certain ways, like it's facing about not as straight down, so you can have like a line somewhere right there. But and also with the microphone, you can just draw a circle and then just like make sure the ball is somewhat about equal to it or over it, and then just draw I think it's 5 lines, and just making sure it's out of the circle and into the thing, and then just like 3 lines if you want to. It's not always going to be like that. If you're drawing a certain amount of lines, just count it. Usually the middle one would always be straight. We're facing a certain way depending on the perspective of the microphone. So that's the small things. But erasing all that, just since it's all facing a little bit upwards, so it's those tiny stuff. And then you color it, shade it, whatever. That is great. It's the tiny stuff. It's fine. That's what it would look like. So, when drawing in open mouth, it would usually take about around 5 rectangles. Usually 4, because there's going to be 2 on the bottom, and then 2 on the top, and then there's going to be like a somewhat of a cone connecting it. So it's like that. You would see it right there. You can follow the steps like that, or you can just trace over it using that. It's whatever. It's not going to be like the final thing. So also the music in the background is ones I did in FL. Well, actually it was FLPs that helped me majority of it, because usually I cannot correct music myself. I cannot, but I can draw. So there's not much of it. With tongues, you'll have to add like little tiny things to it, like drawing little tiny lines to it. Usually wouldn't come out good. Depending on the perspective of the teeth, usually the second one on the bottom, going I think it's horizontal across on a y-axis, then it is going to be that way. For the eyes, it just usually is the motion shown. No, actually, it's the mouth and eyes expressing stuff. But also with the tongue, it's like that. You can trace over that for using tongues or anything if you want. I don't draw tongues most of the time, so that was a first time for me. I can really pretty sure I can just redraw it again later. But having like a back throat or anything, you just have a black mouth open piece. That is great too. It is fine. For the eyes, usually it can be like really big pupils or not. Usually I would draw mine with really big. No, actually, I don't think it's really big at all. It would either be like black or something else, or like small pupils. It would be no pupils at all. So there's that. And there's, for my eyes, it would be like a half a moon. I think it's like a half circle. You can call it like that. I forgot what it was called. Adding like little tiny things like emotion to the eyes, eyebrow, eye movement, stuff like that. It also looks like a mouth closed or open, but usually it would be closed. For my character that I drew, like about, I think it was like fucking when I was somewhere younger, when I started drawing, it was just no mouth, because since I couldn't draw a mouth, and then there was like a robe over it because I couldn't draw bodies still during that time. I can draw bodies now, and I can draw hands. Usually it would just be the head, and it would have like a hood over it. I still wasn't good at it. If you watched older videos of mine, then you would have known that I wasn't good during that time. But no, the improvement since then has been a big one. So there's that. Anyways, for anything else, I'd say this right here would be something big, like you see how all of it's black because I'm mostly finished with that, and there's not really any color sticking out. You see that? That's how it was drawn, and then there's the pad on the arm. Usually I would have to stretch it out just to fit over it. So there's that. Most of the time you won't get all of this correctly in the first time, but there's that. But for the hands, this is what it would look like, and then there's that little tiny part showing that they're separated, not really interlocked, but it's something small I didn't want to add. Then with the other finger, I mean, it's the same thing, it's just interlocked, and I just erased that extra part, and that's what it is. And there's that. The thumb. Usually I would bend it, or not even show it, because it's usually going with it. But there's that. The hand for this one is open, gaped open. That stuff, yeah. Then the joint part right here. It's usually a 90 degrees, sometimes depending on if you're drawing it in whole or not. You can see the spike right there. And there's Agent, no, it was Gray Hudson. This is the first version of it. It is something small, not that much. Here's an unfinished version of Chaos. Something. Anyways, something that I didn't finish, I probably will finish later. Some of these other drawings is tiny things. Here's Gray Hudson, and he is right there. This is the version 2 of Gray Hudson. It wasn't really good. It was kind of rushed, like instantly, and it was gonna originally be what was it, Evaluation. That organizing's right there. You see it? This is an old animation stuff, and here's Roblox. Yay! I think this one's animated. No, that one's not animated. This one is. And it's just like 7-8 frames on a 25 scale with onion skin boomerang. It just goes back and forth on non-stop until I stop it. So there's that. So anyways, there's that. And here's the hoodie for an unfinished GUC Sammy. There's that. This is this is gonna be like the current version still. So there's that. Here's an unfinished berry, and there's Bongles. Here's the background for the refined B-side version of Yushe or whatever. Agashi. I forgot what it was called. But here's the finished version of a berry X-berry drawing. So there's that. How I did this was I grabbed dot pictures and I placed them around to certain areas. And there's that, and I used a tool to layer it on top of it. And then it's the same with everything else. It's colored in separate spots, and then there's that. That's all there that is. And then here's an unfinished animation. And then here's hands. You can draw over this if you want to. It is completely fine. You can trace over it. If it's like directly copied, and it looks directly copied, you have to credit me for this, because like this is yeah, you technically traced over my shit, but you don't have to. You don't have to credit me for anything of this. Because technically, this isn't my art style or anything. This isn't like completely everything. I don't even know why I drew the hat. It's whatever. You can trace over this. You don't have to credit me. You have to credit me for the hands. This is Gray Hudson V3. This was like a really fucking rush. This is an absolute scrap fucking Xberry art because it was ass. You can see it's ass. But there's that. Anyways, here is the current version while making this video is Gray Hudson V5, I think. Was it V5? I think it's V4 or V5. It's either one. But this is the one that is in Refine. Yeah. There it is. For the gun, it's the exact same thing. It is the cubish, let's say, rectangular thing. And then here's this. It's just multiple rectangles. And then this has the 3D almost like that. And then the finger, usually to be like 2 rectangles, depending on how much is being shown. There's that, and it's pointing like straight down, kind of. I didn't want to draw them like with discipline, trigger discipline, because there's that. I think it's called their trigger discipline, but I could be wrong. Whatever. Anyways, here's an unfinished version of Xberry once again, and there's that. I tried to detail some of this. It might be finished, it might not. Depends. And here's something else. For anything else, this is an animation of an old thing. So here's something I drew. I think I posted this on my TV post one time. It's whatever. It's not finished. This is also an unfinished one. I still have to do this one. I'd say that would be all of it. But it's whatever. Here's where I was going to try to redraw the current Xanders, but I might do that later. Here's the leak, well, not a leak, a background I'm doing for the revocaled version. So there's that. Here's something I was doing. I was bored during the time, and here's another lethal one. This one is definitely going to be scrapped anytime soon. So there's that. And then we're back to here again. There's not much else different to it. It's like tiny stuff. Again, gun. That's gonna be on Rookie's back one time. The gun right there. Nothing really good. Not that much of anything. That's basically all of it. And here's all of the stuff I haven't finished yet. Dutch. There's Rookie. I still have to finish this. I'll finish probably around Sunday. This is a finished Ogren model that I drew. Just only made. There's basically nothing else that helped me except for the color palette. And that also the lighting depends on the shading of the light. So depends on how bright it is. Then that's how much you can add. Then you can add like little streaks of lighter stuff. And then that's all. This will probably be scrapped. This is definitely going to be finished. All that stuff. This is going to be gold. It's going to be it's going to be sealed down. It's going to be screwed in. Or it's going to be nailed in because of that stuff. But that's basically all I've got. Bye.